Hi, and welcome to the Glasgow Girls webinar on PPC advertising. My name is Laura Davidson and I run a PPC agency called Tag Digital. Most of you will have an interest in whether it's marketing or sales, or you run a small business. You want to generate more leads, more inquiries, more sales, more brand awareness for what it is you do or the company that you work for. So pay-per-click advertising is a really great way to do that. What I've got is a short presentation to go through what is PPC advertising, why should you use it, what kind of results can you get from it, how can you make sure that it delivers a return on investment, and hopefully it makes you understand a little bit better the benefits. You can also contact me afterwards with any other questions on laura@tagdigital.co.uk, and hopefully I can answer anything that you need to know. So just hang on one sec and we will go through this. Great. So supercharge your sales and marketing with PPC by Tag Digital. So to give you a little bit of an introduction, Tag Digital are a Google Premier partner. We work as global PPC specialists. We offer search, display, video, social, analytics and tag management services. The industries that we work in include events and publishing, B2B and B2C e-commerce, telecoms, technology, fashion, health, charity and power generation. So we've run campaigns in 26 different countries. Our clients include 3, UBM, Messe Frankfurt, Informa, Read Business Information, Fake Bake, i2i Events, Ocean Media and many, many more. So we've worked on lots of different types of sectors and can usually answer any questions. We've usually got some experience there. The company's been going we're in our 7th year now. Started in 2011 and really work all over the world. So tricks and tips for a killer ROI, return on investment. So let's just start out with PPC, pay-per-click advertising. So this is a business model whereby a company has placed an ad on a website or a search engine and you only pay when that ad has actually been clicked. So what you're trying to do essentially is make sure that all of the work that you do in advance on keyword research, audience research, you're making sure that you deliver the most relevant ad to the most relevant user. As the term says, it's pay per click. So you're paying, anything from 10 pence to £10 on a click. So you want to make sure that every click counts. So we'll go through a couple of definitions. So you've probably heard of search engine optimization before. This is the process of refining your website so it'll be indexed and ranked by search engines, as well as leveraging links from other sites. So search engine optimization is essentially anything that is free, that is link building. You want to get good sites linking into your site. You want to make sure that all your pages are clear and have your correct keywords on them. Search engine marketing is also known as SEM, and that's advertising within search results, other websites, and the advertiser only pays when the user clicks. So the main differentiator there is if anyone clicks on your organic listing, then you don't pay for that. If anyone clicks on a paid listing, you do pay for that. And I think one of the things to consider is now Google have introduced that there's 4 ads before you even get to organic listings. So, you want to make sure that you're maybe doing both, because if you're not, then you could potentially have competitors bidding on the same terms as you, and the user has 4 different ads to get through before they get to your organic listing. So thinking about when would you apply PPC. So you're filling gaps where organic is weak. If you've just launched a new website, a new microsite, if you have got a new product, a new page, it's going to take a while for that to actually rank in Google. So a good way to start is to use PPC advertising to make sure that you're first. Strengthens visibility, so you're right up at the top of the search engines. You've got early and immediate access to the market and you remain competitive. So there's lots of different terminology with PPC. There's lots of different things to figure out what it means and what it actually does, and is it important. So one of the first things is impressions. So the number of people that see your PPC ad. So if you want to do bid on, for us, it would be PPC agency. There will be lots of different ways that people search for PPC agency. It might be PPC agency Glasgow, PPC agency London, best PPC agency. So we want to make sure that we're covering all of those searches. So the number of times people see the ad, they've not clicked on it, is impressions. Clicks is whenever somebody clicks on one of your search or display network ads. Click-through rate is the number of clicks divided by the number of impressions. So you want to make sure that your click-through rate stays high. Anything less than 5% you would be concerned about. And the reason that might happen is that Google says to you, okay, you should now be bidding on PPC as a term. But for us, that's too broad. It could be somebody just wanting some more information. You want to make sure that you're not bidding on anything too broad, because what you're trying to understand is the level of intent. So if you have a cake making business, then you want to make sure that you're searching for, your terms are stuff like cake making Glasgow, or wedding cakes Glasgow, something like that you think, okay, that's somebody nearby, they're looking for my service, rather than somebody who's searching for, they want to make a cake themselves and they're looking for a recipe. So a conversion is the desired action taken by the website visitor. So they're filling out a form, they're making a purchase. Once they get to the completed page, so it's maybe /thank you, then that is what we'd record as a conversion. So we want to know that somebody completed an inquiry form, bought something, downloaded something, so you either have their money or their data. Conversion rate is conversions divided by clicks. So this shows you, okay, people are clicking on the ad, is it relevant, or is there an issue with the landing page? And again, if that starts to go below 5%, you would suggest that something needs to change, either with the landing page, the keywords, or the ads. The cost per acquisition, so how much is it costing us to acquire one conversion? So if you sell a cake for £100, then you would only want to pay, I don't know, maybe £2 or £3 a lead, because ultimately what's happening is you might need 5 leads to convert to one sale. So at that stage, you would be paying £10 for a sale, which is fine if your cost per sale is £100. If you're doing e-commerce, so if you're selling beauty products online, the average order is £40, then your cost per conversion, you maybe don't want to pay less than £8 to ensure that it's still profitable. Keyword matching options, so you can look at things like modified broad or phrase match to make sure that you pick up on things like typos. We're always typing quickly, or we've got, you're not missing out on things like best cake deals or something like that. That's a very close variation of what you want your keywords to be. So ultimately you want to be thinking about what's the kind of percent of your overall sales, leads or registrations that you can deliver from PPC. So generally we would say 10 to 30% when you take into account all your other marketing. Often when it's B2C, you can get higher, 40, 50, 60%. What return on investment would you expect from PPC? So we would say that we aim for 200 to 400%, but we have had campaigns up in the thousands of percent of return on investment. So for sales, you're looking for, okay, how many sales am I getting? And what's the return on investment? What's the return on ad spend? So if I'm spending £1,000 a month, I want to be generating 5,000 in revenue. For lead generation, how many leads am I getting? How much is it costing me to acquire a lead? What's the conversion rate? And how many view-through conversions am I getting? So view-through conversion is if somebody has seen an ad, they've not converted, but they do convert at a later stage. They've not clicked, but they convert at a later stage. And for brand awareness, you're looking at impressions, clicks, and impression share. So your campaign KPIs, so once you have a campaign that's launched, you're looking at cost per acquisition, so sale, lead, download, webinar, conversion rate, your cost per click or cost per 1,000 if you're using the display platform, click-through rate, so as I mentioned, your clicks divided by impressions. Invalid clicks is good because a lot of people worry that maybe their competitors will click on their ads and cost them loads of money. Google will recognise that in the algorithm and refund that money back to you. So, if you see lots of clicks from one IP address, Google would recognise that as unusual behaviour and refund that back. Quality score is you want correlation between your ad, your keyword and your landing page as well as your bid. An impression share for your keywords and your competitors' keywords. You want to make sure that you have 80 to 90% impression share. The other things you might take into account, clicks, frequency, likes, followers, engagement, views, view-through conversions. Again, this depends on your campaign objective, and also this is taking you to social PPC advertising. So we would count PPC as anything on Google, Bing, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, anything that we're paying on a cost per click basis. YouTube's slightly different, but we would put it all under one umbrella. So how do you create a successful campaign? So you want to do research and understand your market and your keywords. You then want to test your ideas and try out new ideas. You have to analyse because, as the term suggests, PPC advertising is you're paying for every single click. So if you have a rogue keyword that's generating, PPC jobs, for instance, would be for us. We're not a job site, we're an agency, so we wouldn't want to be spending on PPC jobs when really we're looking for PPC inquiries. You then want to improve from the results and feed into your campaign. So, how do you create a successful campaign? The main components that you use, this is the kind of blueprint that we would suggest, and I'll go through each of these, is you want to do some offline research. You then want to look at the landing page, so what kind of page are you bringing users through to? Audience research, so you need to understand, who's your target audience, how do you get in touch with them, where do they hang out online? Your keyword research, so what's it going to cost you, what kind of terms are people searching for? The strategy that you're going to put in place. You want to define remarketing, so remarketing is if somebody's been on your website and then you capture their cookie and then you follow them around with a banner ad. So you've probably seen, if you're looking at a shopping website, you're looking at multiple pairs of shoes, you go off the website and those shoes will follow you around the rest of the internet. You also want to do A/B tests on copy and creative, so you're testing out, does global work better than international, does register now work better than book today, and then optimise and iterate. So first of all, thinking about your offline research, so who is your target audience? What's their job title? What sector do they work in? What interests do they have? Demographic information, what location are they in? Where do they hang out online? So is it websites, is it social platforms? You tend to find most people search, so Google AdWords is a really good place to start. Who are your competitors? So, who's doing stuff well? Who can you kind of look at the keywords that they're targeting? What time is your audience online? So if it's a B2B audience, then usually you're going to be looking at Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. How many devices do they use? So, you're finding that people have 2 or 3 devices. Don't overcomplicate. This is kind of generalising. So the lines are blurred between B2B and B2C. Think more about your user. Then think about, where am I going to take them through to? So we have landing page analysis. So your landing page, if you're going to take them through to a website that's really slow to load, it doesn't work great on mobile, there's lots of colour, there's not that much information, it's not a good user experience, and people are much less likely to convert. So take them through to a page that looks kind of like this. You've got clearly navigated links at the top, you've got a good headline, a secondary headline with some text, you've ideally got a testimonial. Most importantly, you want a call to action, so you've got do it now, which is click here. and make it as clear as possible, not loads of text, nicely laid out images, ideally responsive, so that it makes it as easy as possible for the user to either fill in a form or purchase. Also think about the length of your forms, so you don't want them to be really, really long. You want them to be as succinct as possible, that the user can just fill it in and you get the data quickly. So on your landing page, you need a clear, concise message, a relevant message to the audience you're going to target. It should be really clearly formatted with a clean design, strong images, and around 250 words of text. It should be responsive with a call to action and Google Tag Manager implemented. So I've not mentioned that yet. So Google Tag Manager is a little piece of JavaScript code that goes into your website, and I've posted the link here. So it means that you can go to Google Tag Manager, download the code, put it in your website. That allows you to do two main things. The first thing is remarketing. So you need to put the code in to capture the cookies to build a retargeting list. And secondly, you need to be able to track the conversion. So you need a piece of technology that talks to your website and your ad platform that says, because somebody clicked on that ad, they then filled out the form, and now I have that data. Then you want to do some more audience research. So in order to determine how far your budget will go, it's really helpful to establish your audience or universe size. So you can test that on all of the major ad platforms and ad exchanges. So Google, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Bing. You can use your offline persona research to help establish your targeting. So this is an example from Google, that if you're looking for London tech with a daily budget of $1,000, maximum cost per click of $10, then this is the kind of inventory that you can target. We can see that there's 5,000 to 10,000 cookies, which gives us 30,000 to 35,000 impressions. 21% male, 4% female, unknown 74%, and then we can see the split across the different devices here. So it gives you an idea of how you should be setting up your campaigns. You know, you could put like 60% of your budget onto desktop and then 30% onto mobile, and then make sure that you've got relevant ads that match where you're taking the users to. Then you want to think about your different keywords. So the way to do that is to understand, okay, how is your website organised? What themes are represented? So you might say, do you know, we make really great birthday cakes, but actually that's not really represented on the website. So you want to make sure anything that you want to optimise for, any keywords that you need to target, that you have a section on the website that represents that. So for example, there'll be different keywords. The example is digital agency. We've got digital agency London, digital agency PPC. What words do people use to describe your business? You can include jargon, acronym, industry terms. What questions do people ask you? How do they describe your business? And then this builds your ad groups that then you can put the keywords into, and it's really easy to see what's working and what's not, what's too expensive, what can you switch on and off. So here's an example from Keyword Planner. Again, this is free to use in Google, and it lets you just see, you know, what kind of budget do I need. So if we were to use PPC agency as our keyword, the average number of monthly searches is 1,600, we can see here. Medium competition, and it's really expensive at £28.48, and that's per click. So usually you're not going to be looking as expensive as that. That's very high. But then you can get an idea of how many clicks does it take me to get a completed lead, and how much is that going to cost. So in your strategy, you want to basically be starting at the top of the funnel with awareness, then moving to interest, discovery, consideration, and final sale. I would tend to say that the bigger your budget, the higher up the funnel you can start. And it's no bad thing, because the more that you spend, the more traffic you bring in. And so you're driving new traffic at this stage, and then you've got the traffic, so then you can start to do retargeting. You take them back to the website, you maybe offer them a really great ad, and then finally get that converted sale. So when you're running a successful campaign, you need to have a strategy at the beginning. And that's going to include your goals. So that might be completed inquiry form, your budget, so how are you going to start with initially, timeline of when the campaigns need to go live, how are you going to measure success, so from number of completed lead forms, which level are you targeting, top, middle or bottom of the funnel, what types of campaigns are you going to run, so search, display, remarketing, shopping, social. Are all the objectives trackable? So if you run a shop, then it might be kind of hard to say, well, PPC drove this amount of people because it's an offline experience. Facebook are implementing some tracking like that, but it's a little fluffy at the moment. Can more budget be put into a positive return on investment campaign? So PPC is really, really easy to track. It's really easy to know, as long as you've got conversion tracking set up, how many people have completed an inquiry form. So what you could suggest is, okay, you start with a budget of £500 or £1,000 or something like that, and then if you know, okay, well, that £500 generated £3,000 of business, if you make that £1,000, then that in theory should generate £6,000 of business. Defining your remarketing list. So this means, remarketing, as I mentioned before, are ads that follow you around the internet after you've visited a specific website. So think about the sale or purchase cycle your audience has. Usually if it's a brand new person to your website, they need to have 2 or 3 interactions before they actually submit a lead. So if you know that somebody's been back once or twice, could you create a different offer to say 10% off or free delivery or something like that, that means that you're pushing that person to convert and submit a lead? So to do that, you want to connect Google Analytics to AdWords. You also upload custom audiences to Facebook. Allow Twitter to create tailored audiences, but you have to make sure that Google Tag Manager is on every single page. And then within Google Tag Manager, you have a remarketing tag, which comes from AdWords. As long as that is there, it will be collecting all of the traffic, and then it means that you can retarget people who haven't been to your website and haven't completed an action. So the different channels that you can work across, for search, it's Google mainly, Bing, Yahoo, Naver, Baidu, Yandex, those are your international ones. So Bing, lots of people say, will I get many results from Bing? But we would generally say that Bing delivers a 10% uplift. So Bing is a useful platform to use. For display, so display is any advertising on websites as opposed to within search engines. And Google have the Google Display Network, which has about 500 million websites in it. For some brands that's not enough, and they use additional programmatic advertising. So programmatic would cover, AdMeadow or one of these other networks that is out with the GDN network. For social, you've got Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn and Instagram, video, YouTube, and then on retargeting, you've got Google, which you do within the Google Display Network, AdRoll, Bing, Facebook, and AdMeadow. So here's an example of a client that we have that has different retargeting lists set up. So we build different lists depending on the user's status. So if they've been to the website, on this website you can either be anonymous, you can register, or you can subscribe. So we have different people that have subscribed and registered. If you've registered but not subscribed, we'll give you a better offer than if you're a completely anonymous user. For your search campaign, this is getting into A/B testing. So you don't know what's worked unless you've got something to compare it against. So in a search campaign, you want a minimum of 2 ad copies, but ideally 4. And you can see here different variations, where you put the comma, how to write a book fast, get the job done in 14 days or less versus 14 days from start to finish. So you want to make sure there's slight variations in the copy and you know what your audience respond to best. So for these guys, they've done free shipping and 6 cases of gym wipes versus 50% off gym wipes and wall dispenser. So we always find that people respond better to buy one get one free than they do to 50% off, even though it's exactly the same. It just feels better, and you tend to get a stronger result from buy one get one free. So the only way to ensure that your campaign is really working and you're maintaining high success or advanced knowledge is through optimizing and iteration. So optimizing is looking at your campaigns, whether that's on AdWords or Facebook, going through it, seeing what's working, seeing what's not. Are you bringing irrelevant traffic with keywords that you don't want to be targeting? Are you spending too much money on something that's not converting? Are you not spending enough money on something that is converting? So there's lots of different things you can do. There are over 200 optimization points, which I won't bore you with just now. But some of the main ones that we would suggest looking at are location bid adjustments. So if you're a local business, there's no point targeting the whole of the UK or international. You want to maybe target 5 miles around where your business is. Device bid adjustment. So if you notice that your site doesn't work great on mobile and there's no chance of that getting solved quickly, remove mobile as a placement in your campaign. Time of day adjustment. So if you have times of day that you get the most inquiries, so for B2B it can be Monday to Friday, and for B2C it can be the weekend, then you maybe can set your campaign to only run in those times. Ad group and keyword reviews. So, are there ad groups that aren't working, or they're too expensive, or they're keywords that just aren't bringing the right kind of traffic? Adding negative keywords. So you want to add, jobs as an example. If we were looking for cake making jobs, you don't want to bring that. You want people who are wanting to buy cakes. Negative audiences. So if somebody's already converted, then you would want them to be in a different audience. They could be a brand ambassador, you could give them a refer a friend, but you want to remove them from your kind of standard campaign. Check your placements for display. So as I mentioned, there's 500 million websites in the Google Display Network. You don't want to be advertising on some of them. They won't be relevant. They might be slightly borderline offensive. So you want to go through your display placements and make sure that nothing is in there that you're not happy with. Check if anything is running out of or not spending your budget. So if it's running out of budget, can you put more in if it's converting well, or if it's not spending the budget, maybe you have to broaden the campaign slightly. So a few common issues and how to fix them. So if you find in your PPC campaigns that your conversions are staying the same or they're increasing slowly, then check your conversion tracking is still working and optimize. Often you find the tag has fallen off or something's happened and it's not tracking anymore. Cost per acquisition is getting more expensive, so whatever is spending in the account when the conversions actually dropped off. So you would want to see, okay, what was the CPA and why is it got more expensive? Limited impression share, so you want to check the relevance of your keyword, your ad copy. What are your competitors bidding on and what's your quality score? If that's gone quite low, then you're going to have to maybe improve the landing page or your keywords or bid higher. Low quality score, so if your quality score is under 5, so that would be if you are, say you're optimizing for birthday cakes, but your page is called desserts possibly, then that might give you a low quality score. You want to make sure that the keywords you're bidding on, you also have those on your landing page. If your low click-through rate is under 5%, go into the search details tab and then look at your ad copy, and then what that lets you see is what are people actually searching for. Is it relevant? If it's not, remove it, and if it is, maybe you have to adjust the ad copy. Keywords that are spending a lot of budget but they're not converting, so check the relevance. Does it meet your objectives and the landing page? Small remarketing lists aren't growing, so check that your tags are actually working. You're not spending your daily budget, can you expand the campaign? And if your campaigns are limited by budget, can you increase the budget? But you only want to increase the budget if the campaign is converting well. If it's not converting well, it's probably too broad and you have to make it less expensive. But if it is converting well, you're happy with the cost per inquiry or cost per sale, we would say put more budget in because it will generate more of the same. So a few more tips and tricks. So something else that's quite cool now that you can do is you can advertise in Gmail. So you can look at users' ad copy, you can look at their keywords, and then you can basically advertise. So say for instance you have a competitor, you're very interested in who they're sending email to, you can use your keyword marketing at whatever your competitor's domain is .com, and you can advertise in their email. Using custom match and custom audiences, so say you've bought in data in the past, or you've built data from like a trade show or something, you can upload that data to Google and to Facebook, and then you can retarget them on various types of campaigns to kind of cleanse old data. A nice little ad format is Facebook flipograms. So this is where you put maybe 8 different ads together on Facebook. It stitches together a small slideshow, and it's a more engaging format. So we're more engaged with video than we are with static images. And this is just a nice little ad that you can use. On Twitter, you can use user targeting to increase conversions. So you might be interested in a bunch of different competitors or trade bodies or influential users. You can basically use those other users as your targeting, and what that means is you can then target their audience. So you can target the followers of your competitors. We'll just finish off with a couple of case studies. So this kind of shows you everything in action. So this is for B2C event management. So we had to sell visitor tickets in really highly competitive markets across London, Birmingham and Manchester. So we used Google, Bing, YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. We used different types of campaigns, so search, remarketing, Google sponsored promotion, which is the advertising and email. We used new data, we used display. We use different types of search, content audiences, competitor targeting. The results were the overall business target, they needed 10,000 ticket sales. The PPC target was 20%, which gave the actual number that we got was 2,360 orders plus 732 view through. Exceeded target by 18% and achieved 24% of event ticket orders. The average order value is £36, so the revenues were 84,960. They spent 18,000 on all of the ads and the media, which was ROI of 372%. So your total numbers that you're looking at are 4 million impressions, 1% click-through and 5.72% conversion rate. The second one is a conference in London. We only use Google, so this would be a kind of more straightforward entry point. Search, remarketing, display and Google sponsored promotion, brand and non-brand search, different managed placements. Really small, so they had 27 conversions with view through conversions of 37. Cost per conversion was £20.35. They only spent £549 with a click-through rate of 0.46%. But this was a conference where each ticket was maybe £700. So the value was 23,949. Conversion rate is 7.38%, 79,000 ad impressions and return on ad spend of 4,300%. A few resources that I found really helpful to use, which is AdWords, the AdWords blog, PPC Hero, WordStream, and Google Plus My Business on Google Plus, but also on YouTube is really helpful. All of those you would tend to find are really useful resources. So thank you so much for listening. You can contact me, Laura, at tagdigital.co.uk, add me on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and Laura Tag Digital. I hope you found that useful and as a kind of very initial introduction to pay-per-click advertising, but please give me a shout if there's any further questions.